the true main villain of Dragon Ball Super. What's up, everybody? I'm S's Multiverse, and today we're going to be talking about, is Goku a villain in Dragon Ball Super? Now, the first time I heard about this, I kind of just brushed it off right from the start because Goku isn't really evil per se, and he doesn't go out of his way to hurt people he doesn't need to. But let's look into this a little bit more. So let's start off by looking at the definition of the word villain. A villain is a character whose evil actions or motives are important to the plot. Okay, that kind of doesn't really sound like Goku because he's not flat out evil. Another way of phrasing that though is the person or thing responsible for specific trouble, harm, or damage. Now that one is a lot more interesting. So it's saying who's responsible. It doesn't say anything about intentions or motive. It's just saying who actually is to blame for certain bad deeds being done. So going all the way back to Dragon Ball Z, Goku had a realization after the Cell arc. Almost every villain that came after Earth recently was coming after Goku, and if not for Goku, a lot of these villains would have never existed. Frieza would have never came seeking revenge. The Red Ribbon Army and Dr. Gero never would have resurfaced and came after Goku. Even King Piccolo may have never appeared because it was Emperor Pilaf who freed him from the rice cooker initially. So almost every villain in Dragon Ball Super can be surfaced back to Goku. So he made a decision to stay dead for the Cell at the end of the Cell arc, but then comes the Buu Saga and he returns to the living. So I think that's the first time you can kind of scratch your head a little, because what changed his mind really? I know the world needed him to defeat Majin Buu, but with the Majin Buu threat gone, was it really a good idea for him to keep staying around? And here comes Dragon Ball Super, where things have changed a lot. Now, a lot of people argue if Goku's character has really changed from Dragon Ball Z or not. For me, to me personally, this is just to me, I think his character has changed a little. He's especially recently, if you count like the last 20 episodes, he's way more open to having these battles. A lot of people say he's like lower IQ in this, and I could kind of see their argument. He's definitely not lower IQ than like in Dragon Ball, but maybe in parts of Z, Goku can be a little bit more serious. But getting to the point of where I'm going with this is that Goku told Zeno and reminded him of this tournament, and that is very significant because Whis and Beerus warned him not to, because they know Zeno can ultimately destroy whatever he wants. He can take out universes, he can do a lot of things, and they can't stop him. So they're telling Goku to not do this. And just for the thrill of battle, now keep that in mind, just for the thrill of battle, he doesn't listen to them and goes through with it. And what do you know, because of his demand, his thirst for battle, Zeno holds this tournament in which universes are going to be destroyed. So going back to our dictionary definition of the word villain, and looking at the second one, the person or thing responsible for specific trouble, harm, or damage. I can actually see the argument for saying that Goku is a villain. I can really see it. I mean, it fits pretty well because he's the one responsible for this tournament. If not for Goku, this tournament would have never be held. Now you might be like, well, what about Zeno? He's the one who actually is going to destroy the universes. And to that I'd say, yes, certainly you can stick Zeno in that category of villain as well. I mean, he's literally going to destroy universes, and in the past has destroyed universe just because he felt like he was in a bad mood. So certainly he could be considered a villain as well. Now, I'm not saying that Goku is like Frieza or Cell, for example, where they, especially Cell. It actually is a pretty big difference in Frieza and Cell in terms of evil, where, he's not just a character that, wants to go destroy and kill people unless he has to defend his friends. But that's kind of irrelevant to a degree, because look what he's done. Despite not having pure evil intentions, I mean, he's still causing all this chaos. And, if not for him and Super, Beerus would have never came to Earth. There would have never been Goku Black, because there would be no body to, for Zamasu to steal and use to kill all the other gods. And then now, if not for Goku, this tournament would never be held. So I certainly can see the argument for Goku being called a villain. Like, at first I kind of, like I said earlier, I didn't really think I had a leg to stand on that argument, because it's like, but then I looked at the definition of the word villain, and it's like I really thought of it, and it's just, without Goku, like 90% of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, all these evil foes, especially when it has to come to Earth, would have never really happened. And he made a decision, knowing that all these enemies keep targeting him, to stay on Earth. You know, that was his decision. And I think in some ways, if he truly believed that there's going to be more villains and more threats, that was kind of a selfish action on his part, assuming that he actually believed that there's going to be more villains. So combining that he made that decision, that for the thrill of battle he got involved in Xeno, which is someone who destroyed a universe before his very eyes, and looking at the definition of the word villain, I can actually see people saying that Goku's a villain. In fact, I actually do believe he is one at this point. How can you really say he's not? At least with this definition of the word villain. I know people could then say that this isn't how they view villains. They view villains like Cell or something, and then that's going more into like how you understand language and whatnot. But I'm trying to make the argument that it is right to say that Goku is a villain in a lot of ways. So ultimately, I do believe Goku's a villain, but I don't think he should be put in the same category as Frieza or Cell by any means. But it actually is a very interesting thing to think about, and I think Dragon Ball Super should really capitalize on this, the evolution of Goku. You know, maybe he's becoming more of the, I've heard this as theory, I didn't come up with this, so credit goes to whoever came up with this, but maybe Goku's turning more into his Saiyan biology, where he's kind of reverting back to his old, like, you know, primal warrior type. Because seriously, like, holding this tournament literally just for the thrill of battle, knowing that, you know, anything can happen with Xeno, that's just not like Goku. I cannot see him doing that in Z, to be honest. And that's why I do say that the character of Goku in Dragon Ball Super is a little bit different than Z, in my opinion. Now, I could certainly see Goku entering this tournament of power if it already existed in Z. You know, kind of like how he entered the world's martial arts tournament on Earth, or in the other world with the whole tournament, filler tournament with Pycon. But just the fact that it was his idea, and here's the thing, guys, he actually had to mildly betray, like, the people who knew to do this, like Beerus and Whis. Like, they actually stopped him and said, no, look, this is a horrible idea. And he just went through with it anyways. And that's why I'm really not understanding why Goku wouldn't listen, you know. Just because he wants someone to fight, like, that's his only reason. And, you know, he's dealing with someone who's destroyed an entire universe in his very eyes. And that's another thing. Why doesn't Goku see how evil Xeno is? I don't understand why he's saying that, oh, Xeno's not that bad of a guy, when he's seen him destroy a universe before his very eyes. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really understand where that comes from. I don't really think Goku's like that. I think that's kind of like the super version of Goku more than Z. And I don't really just don't get it. He saw someone destroy a universe, and he's just like, oh, he's not that bad. I don't get it. I don't understand what really changed about Goku. And like I said, I think that Super should just go with this change. I don't think it was intentional. I think they tried to recreate Goku the same as Z, and it didn't really come through the way they want to. But at this point, if I was the writers of Super, I would just go with it, and I would actually play on this, maybe that Goku's turning back into his Saiyan biology, or this is actually like the new Goku. You know, don't ever make him like, you know, Frieza or Cell level evil, but make it so, like, you know, us as the audience is questioning, you know, who we support in the series. You know, do we actually support Goku anymore? Like that, I actually think that add an interesting layer, or maybe even have Vegeta replace Goku as like the main good guy. And I put that in huge quotes because Goku was never really a flat-on hero. Like, he would fight to save his friends, and he would fight for the thrill of it, but he's never really someone who fought for good. At least if you look at the manga, more than the Funimation dub of Z. But I think that could be an incredible twist of Dragon Ball Super if Vegeta takes over Goku as like the most sane you know, like I said earlier, I'll just put this in quotes, but good guy. And then Goku kind of becomes more of the person who acts more like, you know, a brutal Saiyan warrior who just he's just so into fighting. He's so into fighting stronger opponents. He'll do anything for it, even sort of cross into the lines of becoming a villain, which I think he's starting to do. And I think that's an interesting layer, except that I don't think the writers are intentional of this even happening. I just think that they're trying to make Goku like how he was in Dragon Ball and Z, and it's just like, I just don't think they recreated it correctly. It's not bad, but and this is just my opinion, especially this part where I just talk about Goku's personality, but absolutely I think they should go more into this and play on this, that the fact that Goku, in my estimate of what the word villain means, it has become a villain in the series, especially with this Xeno tournament. Like, how can it really be that debatable anymore? Like, asking someone who he saw destroy an entire universe just because he was annoyed before his very eyes to hold a tournament of power of all the strongest fighters. You know, just how? Like, it could just be sheer ignorance, but then you have to ask yourself, like, he's even like betraying like Whis and Beerus's opinion, you know, people who are stronger than him. It's just, it's not really like Goku for me. I mean, I think this is like a change going on with him. But anyways, guys, before this video goes on way too long, I think I'll end it here. So yes, I can absolutely see the argument for Goku being a villain in Dragon Ball Super. I will never say he's the same level of villain as like Frieza or Cell. However, I can definitely see why people say that, and I think they have a leg to stand on. Hope you guys enjoyed this long kind of ranty video about Goku being a villain. Maybe open your minds up a little bit to the possibility. I mean, you don't have to agree. Like, you know, obviously it's nice to have different opinions flowing around in the community. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Is Goku a villain in Dragon Ball Super? Let me know in the comments, and I'll take a look at them. As always, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.